Good day, everyone. Today, I will present our paper, Pattern-Based Acquisition of Scientific Entities from Scholarly Article Titles. I am Jennifer D'Souza, and this is joint work with my supervisor, Zoran Auer. So let's begin with the definition of scientific entity extraction. Given scholarly article text, which may include one or more of the following aspects, that is title, abstract, or full text, to extract meaningful entities that are semantically valid scientific terms and type them with relevant semantic concepts. These terms may directly pertain to the actual work proposed in the paper or may be a reference to other research that contributed to the paper idea. So as an example, given exploiting head-word dependency and predictive clustering for language model to identify the entities and then to type them with a set of concepts. Now, the concepts on this slide have been taken from related work by Gupta et al. The task itself is challenging because no standardized set of concept types are available yet, even for computer science. So on this slide, we show 3 example data sets that exist in the community, each using a different set of concepts. So in our work, we seek to overcome this limitation by formulating a very precise extraction objective, which in turn limits the semantic possibilities for the concept types. So we have proposed a rule-based approach for the automatic extraction of salient scientific entities from computational linguistic scholarly article titles. By salient, we mean just those entities that constitute the original contribution of the work. The motivation is we want to align the extraction objective with existing digital libraries like the Open Research Knowledge Graph, or ORKG for short, where our system can be integrated. The ORKG itself is a digital library for machine actionable knowledge about scholarly contributions communicated in scholarly articles and can be accessed at orkg.org. The benefit of the ORKG is with intelligent analytics over knowledge graphs, researchers can easily track research progress without the cognitive overhead that reading dozens of articles impose. Of course, then a typical dilemma with building such a knowledge graph is deciding the type of information to be represented. In other words, what would be the information constituent candidates for a KG that reflects the overview? So we have tackled this question in part in our work. Recall that we propose a rule-based approach for the extraction of salient scientific entities from scholarly article titles. So why titles? We have observed that they are succinct formulations of salient aspects of the contribution of the research work. And why a rule-based approach? We have again observed that titles are written with lexicosyntactic pattern regularities, which are generalizable as a set of extraction heuristics. Furthermore, a rule-based approach is lightweight and works out of the box without the need for sophisticated computational resources. So to our best knowledge, a corpus of only article titles remains as yet comprehensively unexplored as a resource for scholarly knowledge graph building. Thus, our work sheds a unique and novel light on SKG construction, representing research overviews with a rule-based system. So the plan for the talk is to first introduce the raw data set on which our rule-based system was developed, then to describe the system itself, and to conclude with evaluation. So we start with the raw data set. We downloaded all the article titles in the ACL anthology as the full anthology as BibTeX file, dated the 1st of February of this year. From a total of 60,621 titles, our evaluation corpus comprised 50,237 titles after eliminating duplicates and invalid titles. By invalid titles, they were proceeding overview names, administrative report names, or meeting cover pages. So now to describe a little bit our approach at a high level. First, we introduced the scientific concept types that we used in our work. There were 6 in total. First, research problem, which is the theme of the investigation. Second, resource, names of existing data and other references to utilities like the web, encyclopedia, etc. Third, tool. A tool can be seen as a type of a resource and specifically software. Fourth, solution, which is defined as the novel contribution of a work that solves the research problem. Fifth, language, defined as the natural language focus of a work, especially relevant when dealing with computational linguistics titles. And sixth, method. They refer to existing protocols used to support the solution. So our formalism basically is that every computational linguistics title is represented by a title expression consisting the 6 concept types that we introduced earlier, where a title can contain terms for 0 or more of any of the concepts. And so the goal of our tool, called CL Titles Parser, is for every title to annotate its title expression involving scientific term extraction and term concept typing. It operates in a 2-step workflow. First, it clusters titles within 8 generic title template types. And second, within each group, heuristics are applied to phrase chunk and concept type the titles based on group-specific lexicosyntactic patterns. So, step 1. Titles are clustered based on commonly shared lexicosyntactic patterns. On the slide, we show an example of such a pattern. Has special case word. This applies to title written in 2 parts, a 1-word solution name and a colon separator, and an elaboration of the solution name. So for example, the title Snowpar, a grammar testing system, consisting of the 1-word Snowpar and its elaboration, a grammar testing system. There are, of course, other instances of titles belonging to this template type that are complex sentences, that is, titles with additional prepositional or verb phrases, where mentions of the research problem, tool, method, language, etc. are included in the latter part of the title. So here is an example. So we see this is a complex title with a prepositional phrase triggered by for, specifying the language domain Dutch. All right, so step 2, precedence-ordered scientific term extraction and typing rules are applied. So this works in 2 steps. You determine the connector positions within a title, and the title is then chunked at these connector positions. So on the slide, we share our connector regex, which contains 11 prepositions and 1 verb. And then in the second step, based on the number of connectors, the title is processed within a precedence-ordered set of heuristics workflow for concept typing. So for example, if a title has 1 connector, it enters into the 1 connector hue branch. There, the first step is determining which connector is in the phrase. Then based on the connector, separate steps of concept typing precedence rules apply. So if the connector is from, the title subphrases are typed based on the following pattern: solution, from, resource. So with this, we conclude the high-level description of our approach, moving to evaluations, our experimental setup. So CL Titles Parser, when applied to 50,237 titles, extracted tens of thousands of entities for each concept type. And these concept lists were then evaluated for extraction precision, where precision is defined as the total correctly extracted concepts divided by the total extracted concepts. And this denominator refers to these numbers that we see. These are the raw numbers of the extracted concepts. All right, so on this slide, we present our results per concept type sorted in descending order of the extracted precision. We see that the extraction heuristics for language were most precise. This relies on a regex list of languages, therefore, in a sense, is also limited by this list for recall. Nevertheless, this is a general characteristic of rule-based systems, but our list is also quite large, covering various obscure languages. An alternative to our approach could be zero-shot machine learning. Now, we note that research problem has the least extraction precision. This is in part because the gold standard list curation was biased toward already familiar research problems or their derivations. Thus, we estimate that at least 20% of the terms were pruned in the gold data because they were relatively new as opposed to being incorrect. So with this, we conclude with a few takeaways. We performed also a qualitative analysis over the extracted terms for titles written in the 20th versus 21st century. And we found that the outcome of the most frequently used entities was indeed indicative of the times. For instance, social media channels are predominant resources in the 21st century. This is in contrast to text discourse dialogues leveraged as resources in the 20th century. In this work, we have proposed an incremental step toward the larger goal of generating contributions-focused SKGs. The absence of an inter-annotator agreement score in our work is going to be addressed in future work. Our code is also publicly available on GitHub. With this, thank you for your attention and happy to take questions.